Hello YouTubers, we got something fun here. Switchblade, stiletto, whatever you want to call it, automatic knife, auto retract knife. I've heard so many different descriptions for these things. I bought this the other day because it was slightly fascinating and it was inexpensive, and I noticed that it has some screws that I happen to have a screw remover for. So I've been looking at this thing, thinking to myself, well, how does this work? I mean, if there's one spring under tension this way, that when you go like this, it loses its tension in shooting this blade out, there has to be another spring to cause it to go back in, right? And it has a very robust locking mechanism. I'm putting, I'd say, about 20 pounds of pressure on that, and it's not going anywhere. And it also has another mechanism inside of it to where if you try and punch through something, the blade pops out and sticks in it, and then that's all the blade does. Now I can pull on that blade and it goes back to working just fine. So back to the thing with the springs. If this has one spring this way, okay, that's right now under tension because the blade is retract, and it has another spring this way that is not under tension, whereas now it's under tension now, so it can shove it back in. How does that work, since you need, if you have a 1 pound spring and you want to push a 1 pound weight, they're at an impasse. So if we have a and I'm just using 1 pound just for an easy number. If it's a 1 pound spring to throw it out, it can't be a 1 pound spring to throw it back in, right? If it's a 1 pound spring to throw it out and 2 pound spring to throw it back in, that would work, but it'd have to already be out. So quite a conundrum. I've seen devices in the past that had U-shaped springs with a gate. So it was one spring for throwing the blade out, another spring for pulling it back in. I've seen circular springs do the same thing, and I'm real curious to see what's inside this thing. So give it your best guess, and we're going to take it apart right now. And hopefully, as we're doing this, see if I can do this left-handed because of the way I got the camera set up. As I'm doing this, I'm hoping that that I don't get kibbles and bits and pieces and chunks flying all over the place, because that would defeat the purpose of me having this thing for fun. So, but in any case, if it does have bits and pieces and chunks of things inside of it that go flying out, that can be its own kind of fun too, right? So if you do YouTube videos and you do anything like this where there's those moments of silence, I'd appreciate some kind of comment as to what you do with those moments of silence. For some reason my brain thinks they're not supposed to be there, and that's why you got to listen to me the whole time. Yakety yak. Alright, that one screw doesn't want to come out. There we go. Now the treacherous part. What happens when I take the lid off? I don't have any nails really. I heard something move, which I don't like that idea. So a friend of mine said, well, maybe it uses magnets. I don't quite understand how it uses magnets. But here's the blade. We've got a spring gate here. Let's see if I can get this light over here. Hopefully that's not too reflective. Hopefully you're seeing that and you're not just seeing a reflection. We got a spring and a gate here and a spring and a gate here. So this one is going to hold it open. This one is going to hold it closed. But I'm not, and you can see that I can move that back and forth without any problem. Now I'm bringing the blade out, and You know what? That spring just went flying towards me. Are you kidding me? Yep, pieces and parts coming apart, flying out all over the place. Gotta love it. Okay, I'm going to pause the video, see if I can find that spring. Okay, and we're back. And I did not find the spring. And let's see if the camera can pick this up. The spring's right there, to the left of my little T6 Torx driver. So there's a spring here, there's a gate here. And this spring and gate is for the forward motion. And where the spring would go here, in this gate, it is now magnetized, is going to be for the reverse motion. Okay? So we're going to take this apart now. Am I on camera? Take this apart. We're going to see if the spring is down under here, which is what I'm guessing. So there we have our spring. It's just one spring. Okay. So we have a spring with a pawl on each end. So this sits in here like this. And here's the front. This goes on this way. Here's our little thumb slide. That thumb slide presses, you press up with a thumb slide, and this right here, I don't know if you can see that moving or not, that catches on the back side of the blade, and then this right here, this little ramp right here, engages this gate, pressing on the gate, allowing this spring to throw the blade forward. And then the mirror image of that happens in reverse when you push that little thumb slide backwards to retract it. That little spring right there, there's got to be a rebate on the underside. Oh no, I bet it's grabbing. I bet it's grabbing the little protrusion right there, that little pin. That pin rides in a groove there, so I bet that that pin's dual purpose. It rides in the groove, keeps the blade from coming out, keeps it centered, and also lets that grab that because it's enough for it to grab. So it grabs that. You come back a little bit with your thumb. That applies the spring pressure. And then this ramp right here would ride against this gate. Press that gate against the spring and pop. The blade goes back in the housing. So now, if I can find the spring, I can put her back together. Have a great night.